And we are live. And just because I want to get it out of the way early when no one's here to see us, his name is Zach, everyone. That's what the Z stands for.
That is correct.
Well, there goes
Confirmed
my
behind the
first question.
scenes.
Zach, how are you today? And
I'm doing well, man. It's been a bit of a busy day. We just got back from doing some shopping with the 2-year-old, so that went about as well as it possibly could have. How about yourself?
So you went shopping with a 2-year-old, and then you decided to come on the show to recreate that experience.
Yeah, it was just one chaotic experience to another.
Okay. Oh, well, it's Friday, so that's good. The weekend is here.
2-year-old boy or girl?
Girl.
So you have to go through all the pink aisles?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm already bracing for the nail polish and the hair bows and all that.
So
Yeah, good times.
I strike fear in you or not, but I work in the personal care industry.
Mhm.
They said that there are girls as young as 9 who are going to Sephora and to other things, and they're putting on facial masks, and they're getting all the personal care products for beauty care at the age of 9.
Yeah, that is terrifying. Forget the whole horror genre. Just write that down.
And I'm in personal. I'm like, it's all lies. It's all marketing, people. Why do you? And I'm like, this is horrible. They're 9 and they're doing this. Ugh.
Yeah. World we live in, bad times.
So, yeah, I mean, clearly I do not, go for all personal care products all the time, as you can tell.
Ever?
Well, I rarely shave,
I'm with Ro. I'm going to throw some doubt on this. You're kind of like glowing right now.
That's right.
Oh, that's the
How many
light.
lights do you have on you?
I did put some turtle wax on, so
That's good. Give it a little sheen.
So, E.L. Montague is here, and he's going to throw a temper tantrum soon if you don't show us your book. So let's get that out of the way now. We'll do it 4
Here
more
it is.
Let's get that out of the way. That's our entire reason for being.
Yeah, there's a reason why you take the lead in the interview.
For a few days more. Okay, there's blood on the words, and they're at a jaunty raked angle. So
I'm doing my best with the angles.
Dark fantasy?
Yes, sir. Dark fantasy, no magic. Really more of a grimdark. Sorry, I'm so bad at this angle thing. I'm trying, E. I'm trying.
He wants the back, too.
He wants the back.
The last time E.L. said that, he spent the night in prison. But
yeah, but I am trying my best. I really think my artist kind of nailed the vibe I was going for with the sort of overlaying tension before everything explodes. Like, this is a small tangent, but the scene in Game of Thrones where the Hound and Arya are about to fight the people in the bar, and they have that dialogue with the guardsman about like someone's going to die for some chickens, and you just feel that tension rise. I think that's one of the greatest scenes of television of all time.
So I just have to take a second because E.L. loves me too, and I got my copy of his latest book also today. So
yeah.
So it's not just Ro that he loves. And I don't know how the man puts out a book every single month, but that's what he's been doing. So
yeah.
Luke,
see my buddy Luke is here.
We like it when people come to harass the guests and not us, so welcome.
Yeah. Welcome, Luke.
And
Luke's got a book coming out next month as well. You guys might want to talk to him because his books are fantastic.
Do you know Luke?
Yeah.
I guess you do, yeah.
So actually, Luke, if you're listening, you are on my list of guests we're going to interview. I should probably have told you that. But I'm like, yeah, Luke, I got to make sure I get a hold of him. We want to interview him, and I've not contacted him. Anyway, it's coming.
Yeah.
So what's your book about, Zach?
So it's a multi-POV. It's about mostly these 2 characters with a third POV kind of sprinkled in. The 2 main characters, one's named Roth. He is a bodyguard for hire who has a dark past and kind of running away from it. And then the other protagonist is a woman named Cynthia. She is like a younger woman trying to find her place in the world, and she's with this group of bandits trying to like establish herself in the pecking order, kind of trying to really climb the ranks. And they're just kind of on their own paths for most of it. They don't really interact too much until we get towards the end, but they kind of deal with circles of violence and trying to escape their own past. And that's kind of one of the themes of the book.
So is there like an antagonist, or is it just kind of themselves?
So yes and no, because there is a third POV. His name is Red Cloak. He's kind of like a marshal or like a law enforcement with a bit of a sadistic side. But the thing is, all three of these characters are so morally gray. There's not really anyone who's in the right or wrong, but I would say Red Cloak is the most opposing of their actions.
So you gave up on the lawful good.
There's
chaotic neutral.
Yeah. There's a true neutral who just shines as like the most kind person in the book.
He's probably a bard or something.
Timothy Wolf. Timothy Wolf is awesome.
You're texting and not live, but glad to have you here.
I want to know how he is able to watch every single author interview on every single channel every night.
Because he's a champion. He's glorious. He's the best.
It's a time turner, man.
Or he has 5 computers, and he just scoots from one to the next.
He's a bot.
Yeah, I went to his apartment once. And he was playing everything at like 20x speed, just sucking in information.
Nobody's ever actually seen him in person, so
yeah. You caught me. No one. I don't think he exists.
So you have you said a 2-year-old,
mm-hmm.
And this book came out when?
So this book came out. I want to say around like March, maybe. I don't quite remember the release date, but
okay. So this year, that's fine. So you must have been taking advantage of nap times and the fact that she couldn't like self-motivate around too much, or what?
Yeah, I mean, when they're stuck on the ground, you can at least like take notes and like kind of world build a little bit. I was never able to actually write while she was awake. But nap times are a big one. And I'll say For a Few Days More was a project that was kind of dead. It was just kind of dead and buried. It was probably parked like 10 or 15,000 words. And every author kind of has like the starts and the stops. And there's so many dead projects before you really turn to your own, And so For a Few Days More was a parked project. It was dead. And my kid woke up at like 3 or 4 in the morning one time screaming. I got her down. And then I wasn't able to go back to sleep. So I reopened For a Few Days More, which had been closed for 4, 5, 6 months. I was like, this isn't bad. This is actually pretty good. And then I picked it up from there and just finished it out.
Not that night.
No. No, I'm not a madman.
There's one chapter where they just slept the whole time because his head hit the Z key and
Yeah.
Or he could have put the same chapter in twice.
Yeah.
Only a true amateur would do that.
Yeah, there's at the end of the chapter just says, "Oh my God, she's awake already."
So, as this is your first book, I'm assuming that you are not on the writing pays the rent train.
Oh no. No. If I'm into the black in 2028, I'd be pleased.
Yeah, you should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do on a day-to-day?
I work in logistics right now. I'm a senior analyst, and I do like the domestic moves for our company. I just handle all the full truckloads, less than truckloads. You can ask Morgan Shank about this kind of stuff, but mostly just logistics for the day job.
Yeah. People always need logistics. That's a good field.
Yeah.
Gives you time to think and kind of putter things around in your head a little bit.
Oh, no, not at all. It's so fast paced, but yeah, I do remember when I was in college, we were in a logistics class and we had like the professionals come in, and the representative or whatever you want to call her, she said, "Hey, the most common words you'll be told in logistics outside of the, a, and but is fuck you," which is true in my experience. That is a very hands-on, casual environment. that really kind of helps dialogue.
So, in what situations would somebody use that particular phrase with you at work?
Oh, all the time. No one that I work with, like in my own company, but like outside sources, like a trucker, a customer, maybe not a customer, but a warehouse rep. Those people are so down to earth and casual that they will say anything anytime.
Okay, so it's not necessarily that they're not being horrible to you. They're just being themselves.
It's a mix of both, yeah. Everything rolls downhill. So if you catch someone on a bad day, they'll let you know.
John Ford, that's a horrible thing to say. It's probably the truest thing that's ever been said here.
Yeah, I thought people were here to harass me, not you guys, because that was mean.
It was. He's like that. Yeah, that's why we don't put up hardly any of his comments.
Yeah, except for that one.
These are the people we attract.
Yeah, it keeps you humble, I guess.
I think we'd have more if that's the type of person that is naturally drawn to our show, but
you would think so, right? But then they'd be like your logistics people. They'd all be telling us to go F ourselves.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing every day from here on out.
So, Zach, I have a silly question that I haven't asked people in a while that I want to start with you because we have to ask silly questions. And that is, which of your characters would be most likely to inadvertently start a cult?
Certainly Redlin. Redlin is the protagonist of my book coming out hopefully in March, Whispers of the Storm. Unquestionably Redlin. And I don't know if this cult would be a good thing, a death cult. Do they worship him? Do they worship his actions? I don't know. I'll have to do some thought on that,
but it would be inadvertent. He wouldn't be he trying to start a cult around himself.
Yeah, he's not the type to go out and seek glory, but yeah, that cult would form within days.
But he's morally gray, so he doesn't mind killing people he has to either.
Oh yeah. I don't think I'll ever really write like a morally totally upstanding character, especially a protagonist.
See, now dark fantasy is something I haven't really read a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you draw the line? Between like epic fantasy, because fantasy, right? If people are running around with sharp, pointy things, a fool's gonna die. But how do you figure it's dark? What makes it darker than,
That's an interesting question, because I was talking to Michael Michel about his book, and he said something about like he disagrees with the label that his books get about being grimdark, which I disagree with him. Those books are grimdark. I don't think there's an objective qualifier for that, but murder's a good start.
Is it just one of those, it when you see it? Well, if murder is all it takes, then my first book is grimdark as hell, because the bad guy does in his wife because she asked him to, and then a random family because he went out of his head. Right?
That sounds like a grimdark to me, but
it's not. That's as grim as the whole thing gets. It's just setting up that particular character's mindset.
And maybe some of it's like how much happens on screen. 'Cause it's like if we see, this person chop a kid's head off, well, that's going to be grimdark, right?
Yeah, see, but I think it would have to carry through more than just do you carry that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, you know it, baby. Do you carry that through the whole book, or do you just kind of do that sporadically?
I would say pretty much throughout the whole book. Anytime there's a death on screen, I personally don't really skimp on the details about this character died. It's what happened, did their head get crushed in? Did they bleed out slowly in a gutter?
So how do you, when you're writing things like that, though, it seems like it would be really easy for that to get kind of not boring, but samey to write. You have to figure out new ways to kill people creatively.
Yeah. It's not really necessarily the level of violence. I really think a book will never be a good book to me if the characters suck. So I really do
Okay.
focus on like character building and stuff. Because without that, it's really just kind of torture porn. Like the Saw movies, Saw
Right.
7, like who cares? The chick got her head chopped off, whatever. Whereas Saw 1, when you see these characters struggle and you see their backstories and who they are as people, then suddenly the game's like, oh shit, I don't want either of these people to die.
Right. Well, it's kind of like, I think, Nightmare on Elm Street. The first one was actually really scary.
Yeah.
By 5 or 6, it was a comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Freddy's a victim of reputation because people would just say, like, oh, Freddy's funny. And then that's what the execs heard, and it's all the success. So kind of a victim of his own triumph.
We need to make payday. So, I mean, so yeah, do you have to sit there and just kind of sit there and go, well, how can I do this and not write, not copy paste something I've done before?
No, the violence really, like any of the fights and the deaths, whatever, that kind of comes naturally. Yeah, I kind of do more of a Sebastian de Castell writing style with fights where like it's really more of the detail about like footwork and what kind of moves are they doing as well as that instead of just like they died.
So what did you used to read that kind of got you into wanting to write a story like that in that way?
I would say that I have 10 major influences, if that's all right.
And you've done this before. Okay.
I might miss one and then I'll just
roll
the rest of the day. So I have 6 major that like, because I took a big reading gap after probably in between college and then after my first 3 years out of college. I didn't read anything. But those 6 kind of after college would be Patrick Rothfuss, who I know is controversial these days, Joe Abercrombie, Anna Smith Spark, Sebastian de Castell, Anthony Ryan, and then Steven Erikson.
I'm 0 for 6 on that list.
Really?
No.
No First Law? No Name of the Wind?
Don't get me started on First Law.
Oh, we can make this First Law.
Take it away, Mike. Go on First Law.
Okay. So his characters are phenomenal. I love me some Glockta. I never did. I think that a torture would be let's have more of his perspective. But that man could not write a plot if his life depended upon it. There is nothing. It's like it starts. These people wander around. Oh, end of book 1. These people wander around. More end of book 2. There is not a damn plot anywhere. I won't even read book 3. I've asked several people. I'm like, is there something that ties it all together at the end? And I've got no, hell no. It's 4D chess, and it all comes together, which tells me that guy was drunk.
No, that guy's right.
Then I'm like, no, you've lost me. I will never ever read anything else by him because he does not do plot. And all
right, Zach, rebuttal.
Yes.
The last 200 pages of First Law, I agree that book 2 is a total meanderfest. There's no way about it. But book 3, the last 200 pages, you see like all these threads that Abercrombie has laid, and you can go back to the first book, and they're right there in front of you. The plot is definitely there.
How many pages are the book?
It's like, what, 550?
Okay, hold on. So you're telling me I've got to get through 1,300 pages before the payoff?
I'll say the only rebuttal I'll give for that is it's not I gotta get through. It's I will enjoy getting through because Joe Abercrombie's the greatest of all time.
The thing about getting older is you're so much closer to death. You don't have time to fuck around with that anymore.
Bro, you got 80 years left.
Oh, you're so kind, but no.
I was going to say, you tell me that, I'll tell you to take it back. Oh my God! See, I didn't even know that it is over 500 pages. Why the hell was I reading that anyway?
Well, there you go. Maybe subconsciously that's what did it for you.
Well, it meandered I'm like, sooner or later we'll get to a point, and no.
Yeah, but I mean, I can understand if it all comes together very cleverly and you go, oh yeah, that's really nice, But I'm just afraid I would never get there.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to when I was younger. If I started reading a book, I would finish it just because I felt, well, I owe it to myself to finish this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah. I mean, for anyone listening, Do not listen to Mike and Roe at all. First of all, it's the greatest series of all time.
They
Period.
Hold on. It's 19 minutes and 57 seconds into this. That is, if we're ever going to make a clip feature for advertising, that is it right there. Don't listen to Mike and Roe at all. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for our advertising. We're going to get that on a shirt.
A rebuttal for you, Zach. Do Locke and Logan Nine Fingers ever meet, ever interact with each other?
If they do, it's not much. They might near the middle end of book 3, but even then, I don't think they do.
The two main characters, or at least the two characters I cared about, and they never even meet. No.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
I will never ever read anything else by Joe Abercrombie.
So it's so good though. Logan's a great character.
To bring this back to Zach Steele's book, just for shits and grins, give it a try.
Okay,
yeah, fuck that guy though. I'm talking about Joe Abercrombie.
How has reading and liking that as much as you do, can we expect the same thing from your book?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like that really emphasis on the character growth, like that is one of the main things that I really sought out to achieve. Like in my ideal world, I'll be writing characters like Joe Abercrombie, prose like Anna Smith Spark, fight scenes and banter like Sebastian de Castell, world building like Steven Erikson. That's really my goal.
Is there a story driving it? Or is it like what Mike said? And it's just, we're walking here, and then, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely story going on. Like, there's things driving the plot and all that. But I would say it's a character-focused journey, you know? Like, my other book coming out in March, Whispers of the Storm, it does have some of the Name of the Wind elements, some of the Shadow of the Torture, yeah. Book of the New Sun elements were like, it's a frame story of a character telling his life on his way to his execution. So yeah, it does meander at times. You know, he goes about like, oh, I did this thing and it didn't really matter to the plot, but it's a nice little side journey.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but like I said, the two main characters never meet. I'm done.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I have another silly question for you.
Yeah, lay it on me.
So you have to pick one of your POVs in advance. So who are you going to put up for this? And then I'll ask you.
Roth.
Okay. So Roth, you said?
Yeah, Roth, R-O-T-H.
So I have waved my magic wand, and Roth.
Wait a minute. What are you doing?
No, this is not the ball.
Oh, okay. I'll ask that.
Roth has now become the 6th member of the Village People. What happens at the first band meeting?
I have something that's going to make you feel awful. I don't know who the Village People are.
Oh, my God.
See, this old man exasperation is all I want in life.
Have you heard the song YMCA?
Yeah.
All right. Have you seen the band that does that?
No, never. Never seen the video.
You keep talking, Mike. I got this.
So, Zach,
I was going to call AARP real quick.
Hey, don't be knocking them. I'm a member. But how old are you, Zach?
29.
Oh my God, we're interviewing children.
Yeah, that's all. I do this to Clayton Snyder all the time, where it's like, you're an old man, you're made of dust and bones, and that's it. That's all you got.
Oh, there's some spite.
That's harsh.
Also spite. And,
yeah, that's what keeps it all together.
All right.
Okay.
So what happens if he joins the YMCA band? You know, most of the time, when he's not bloodthirsted, Roth's pretty chill. I imagine he would try to add, he'd do the exclamation point on the YMCA or something.
You see that?
Yeah, it's a little blurry, but yeah.
Them there's the Village People.
And now I know what the Village People look like. Is
go.
YMCA from what, 1947?
Close.
No, it's been 79, 80, something like that. I don't know when you're kidding anymore now. It's just.
That's fair.
I feel awful. Aaron says I'm 33 and no. Okay, you got that up there.
Yeah, but you see, Aaron's picture looks like it's from the Civil War.
Well, that's true.
So I got to ask you this now, I guess. What kind of music do you listen to? And do you listen
music's
to
a
it while you're
big
writing
influence
your?
on me.
Huh?
Music's a pretty big influence on me. I would
You're
say it's
listening to, like,
kind of
death
like
metal or something as you're writing, aren't you?
a little bit of death metal. Yeah, I did. I would say Megadeth was the first band that I really, really fell in love with as a kid. From there, it kind of split in between like a little bit of thrash and then a lot of grunge and a lot of experimental hip hop. So,
Wow. Okay, so I'm 0 for 4 on that list.
I don't
know like Alice in Chains and Nirvana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
There's a very cool song for anyone listening called Story 7 by Clipping, which is a weird song. It's about this seductress werewolf who seduces men and then eats them. And it's by Clipping, which ironically, oddly enough, their rapper or whatever you want to call him, his name's Davey Diggs, who is from Hamilton. Yeah, Justin Bieber. I mean, come on. We've all been there. We all love the Biebs.
No, we have not. Not.
All three of us love the Biebs. We talked about this backstage.
Canada can keep him.
That is probably Canada's most horrible export.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is that thing? Yeah.
I'm just proud that I knew he was Canadian. Yeah, that's I had no idea what Zach was talking about when he said the music types that he liked. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Mike, ironically, you might know more about Justin Bieber than me and Ro do.
Yeah, it wouldn't take much. What you said you had a list of 10, and you rattled off 6 people I don't know. Who are the rest?
So the 7th is Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. Reservoir Dogs I saw at 15, and it blew me away. Because it was a bunch of people talking like me and my friends talk. Every movie I'd seen up to that point, like even the R-rated ones like The Godfather and stuff, was very, not archaic dialogue or anything, but it wasn't how people talk. And Quentin Tarantino's opening with that diner scene from Reservoir Dogs, that's how me and my friends talk. So it just totally enraptured me.
So, fun fact, my brother for 30 years now has been trying to get me to watch that movie.
Really?
He keeps telling me it's one of the greatest movies ever, and I should definitely watch it. And at this point, I'm just telling him no to be a jerk. But
if nothing else, you should watch the intro scene because they're just debating about tipping, and it's so good.
Okay, so that's number 7.
Yeah, Mike, actually, you might hate it real quick because it's not plot driven at all. It's character driven to the max. It's no plot at all.
What are the other 3?
The other 3, I grew up reading all of their books. R.A. Salvatore, Tracy Hickman, and the Marguerite Weiss. The Dragonlance, Raceland books, and the Dretz books, I've read 100 of them.
Salvatore's fantastic.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah. So much so we had a cat named Drizzt.
That's such a good name. I only ever read them. I never heard how it's pronounced. This was a debate between me and my dad because he would call it Drizzt and I'd just say Dritz. So this is devastating to hear that he might be right.
I'm going to go with your dad on that one.
I would go with you, Zach. And not
Thank
just
you, Mike.
disagree
Us
with
youngins got to stick together.
Young ones. That's funny. All right, so Tarantino and Salvatore.
Yeah, and then Tracy Hickman and Marguerite Weiss, the Dragonlance, particularly the Raceland books.
Yep.
Those are so good.
So now, in continuing our not talking about your books, what's your favorite Tarantino film?
Reservoir Dogs by a mile.
Okay, what's your next favorite?
I'd go Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Also never seen that.
You never seen Pulp Fiction? Really? Dude.
Never.
What about
Kill Bill or Kill Bill 2 or I don't know if I've seen anything like Tarantino. I think
what the hell is that one he did? Inglourious Bastards. Thank you.
That's a good one.
That's a Mike, you've never seen Inglourious Bastards? Oh, dude. No, seriously. Forget all the shit your brother told you. sit down with Inglorious Bastards for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
That
Hateful
is-
Eight.
Huh?
Hateful Eight. That's a
Never
good
heard
one.
of that.
I don't know if I've seen that one or not. I think I might have.
Bro, you gotta see it. It's so good.
I think maybe I had. So it's a Western, right?
Yeah. It's the kind of whodunit in the winter.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
Yeah.
Mike, how can you have an opinion on a movie if you haven't seen Pulp Fiction? He's, I hate to say it, but John Ford has almost a point there.
I'll back up John Ford. Yeah. Pulp Fiction is consensus like top 5 movie of all time.
I don't know why Luke said -1 though.
Yeah, I'm probably -6 by now.
Mike, I love you to death, but those are minus points for the Tarantino stuff.
Big holes in your discography there, Mike, in your filmology, whatever the hell you call it.
If it
So
makes
what are
you feel
y'all's
any,
favorite movies?
What's that?
What's your favorite movie?
I really like Grosse Point Blank.
That's been on my watch list, like number 2 on my watch list for like 6 months.
I've watched that movie. I've seen it so many times, and I just partly I like it. The soundtrack is fantastic because for anybody who's never seen it, it's a John Cusack film. He is a hitman, and he goes back to his 10th reunion in Grosse Pointe, Michigan, 10th high school reunion. And his 10th high school the film came out in like 96, so he would have graduated in 86, which is when I graduated. So that's part of the reason I like it, and I really like John Cusack. So no, there's a lot of movies I like. I mean, I think freaking Avengers Endgame is a fantastic film.
Oh, Infinity War is better than Endgame by like a mile.
Not even a little bit.
Oh, it's not even close.
seen neither.
What's that?
Seen neither.
You really?
Gave up on Marvel movies like a decade ago.
You don't
Goddamn
write
right,
enough
Mike.
books to have this big a hole in watching movies, man.
I'm with Mike though. Those Marvel movies have gotten out of hand.
Yeah, but that was the end of the good Marvel.
Okay,
Oh yeah, once you've seen 4 of them,
Everything
you've seen
since
all of them.
Endgame is kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
Mike, please tell me you've seen Bullet. I haven't seen Bullet. This is turning into the film episode.
Yeah. Fuck my book. It's Joe Abercrombie, Quentin Tarantino, and Marvel.
Anytime you want to talk about your book, you jump right in and hold your book
No,
up.
I'm good. I'm having
to
fun.
buy it or whatever you need to do.
I'll
but-
do a quick bitch at the end, but I got Marvel to bitch about.
So Zach, just to throw it in there real quick, my favorite movie of all time is probably The Martian, and the book was better.
The book was better.
The Martian with
Yeah, Matt Damon.
really?
That's a good
I mean,
movie.
it was a good movie. Don't get me wrong, but
If Matt Damon isn't, I tend to like his movies. My all-time favorite excitement, is The Bourne Identity. The original 3 movies. After that's crap, but the first 3 at least. All-time favorite series trilogy.
I'll say this: if you're going to go with a Matt Damon movie, it's The Departed, and it's not close.
I've not seen The Departed. I've never
What
heard
are
of
we
Departed.
doing here?
And I like
I don't
that.
know that I've seen that either. But I mean, I quite like Good Will Hunting. To be
That's a
honest.
good movie. That's a good pick.
I've seen that.
Ro,
Oh my
I'm
God,
putting.
really? You've seen it? Wow. Were you in the hospital or something? Did somebody leave the TV on?
I used to watch movies, and then the new millennium hit.
35
2000
years
or
ago.
2001? Are you a 2000 or a 2001 millennium guy, Mike?
2001 is the start of the new millennium.
Thank you. Okay.
20th century ends with the
Yes.
year
No,
2000.
because you have to do 2000 first. And the year starts, you're counting the whole year. You have to finish the year. So it's not really up for debate, Zach. It's
I
now.
didn't know I was joining a propaganda channel. Like we've talked bad about Joe Abercrombie. We're making up facts about time now.
It's math. You have to finish 2,000 years before you can start the new set of 1,000 years.
It's
And in
all
the year
arbitrary
2000,
anyways.
you haven't finished it.
There was no year zero. So, it's 1 to 100 is the first century. So then 1901 to 2000 is the 20th century. 21st century started 2001.
You guys can sit there and hide behind math and facts, but I live in reality.
Facts have no place in this damn show.
Yeah. So, Rob, before we move on, I've given up on Mike. Mike's a lost cause. I'm begging you to watch The Departed.
What's it about?
So, Leonardo DiCaprio plays an undercover cop who goes into the mafia, and then Matt Damon plays a mob member who's undercover and joins the cops. And it's kind of a cat and mouse game between the two of them. It's in my opinion, Scorsese's best film. Like, Goodfellas is not as good as The Departed.
All right.
Goodfellas was just okay. I don't know why people go on and on about that.
You see, all right, so anyone listening, you see Mike's opinion about stuff, throw it out the window. Joe Abercrombie's great. Quentin Tarantino, who he hasn't seen, great.
I've never seen Goodfellas, and I've never seen, what's that really super famous?
Godfather.
The Godfather. Yeah, I've never seen that either.
Oh, really?
Godfather is good.
Yeah, whatever.
Godfather 2 is good.
You guys are trying to make me feel young, but my goodness.
All right.
Okay, so are we ready to go to the Bald Dome? So we can talk about his characters for a little bit?
Yeah, let's do that. That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, we do want other people to show up on our show, so eventually we do have to talk about his stuff. So the Bald Dome is, we want to know more about your your characters, but we don't want you to give spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to roll a bunch of dice.
All right.
And then I will tell you that one of your main characters, since you have 3, you have to pick one, is going to be transported to a different place where the rules of your world still hold sway, but it's just outside of anything you've written.
Mm-hmm.
And he will be given a potion that he does not know what it does, but it's 100% effective no matter if he uses it or throws it on his adversary. You just don't know what it does, and so you get to choose that or choose not to use it.
Right.
And
Hold
then,
on a second, Mike. We never actually touched on this. Zach, what's magic like in your world?
So I have 2 different series that I'm kind of juggling right now.
You've already written the book.
Yeah. So this book, its series does not have magic at all. And then Whispers of the Storm does have the closest thing that I would think of is an anime called Naruto, where like the characters have a certain amount of energy and they can only use that amount of energy, or that's it. Okay.
So you're bringing a total non-magic using person into the Bald Dome. This should go well.
See how it goes. I'm not expecting it to go well.
Okay, so which character are you going to go with who's going to be transported?
Let's throw Roth back in the ring.
Okay, so tell us about Roth.
So Roth is a bodyguard with a dark past, scarred up face, big dude, big sword, a little bit of a violent temper, I would say.
There's a surprise.
Yeah.
So Roth has been transported to a walled desert canvassary with gates closed for the nights. He has, what is your favorite color?
Gray.
He has a gray fizzy potion. So now he gets a choice. He can have a regular item and he will face a regular creature, or he can have an actual weapon and he will face a fantasy creature. Which does he choose?
Let's go with the regular item.
Okay, so
you're going to get like a candle or something. You know that, right?
He can beat someone to death with a candle.
So if you'd chosen the weapon, you would have got a bastard sword, but you chose a regular item, so you get a quilt.
A quilt?
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, but now you're facing a common animal, and you are facing a black mamba instead of a chimera.
I'll take that trade. I'll take that trade any day.
So you have a quilt, a gray fizzy potion. Never had a gray fizzy potion on the show before.
Nope, or a quilt.
And in this canvassaria, however the hell you pronounce it, I'm from Kentucky. I can't pronounce those words. 3 syllables. And he turns the corner, and there's a black mamba just staring at him. He has his quilt out, which is his grandmother's made for him. What does he do?
We're gonna throw the quilt atop the snake and then try to grab a hold of it.
Do I need to roll to see if it's successful, or do you want to tell us it is successful or not?
I would say he has strength +4, and grappling is a strength-based thing, if I remember right.
So is he like falling on top of the snake with the quilt, or is he just throwing the quilt and letting it?
He's gonna throw the quilt and then try to grab it.
You just said strength +4 unironically. Is your book like a lit RPG kind of thing?
No, but it's been 3 years since I've played a D&D campaign.
Okay, so I just didn't know if in the book that he kind of leveled up like that or something like a lit RPG would. No?
No, he's like significantly above average strength.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so he throws the quilt. It lands over top the snake. Yes, no. Does he miss? Does it hit?
You want to roll a d20, just a normal dex roll?
Roll a 6.
I would say that misses.
Swing and a miss. So what happens, Mike?
I'm not telling the story. I just do
You're
the
the
same.
Oh, I'm
snake,
telling the
man.
story. Let's see if that misses. I'm gonna have to say the snake charges, and then Ross still tries to grapple. Let's roll strength with disadvantage. 15 is success.
8.
Well, I'm gonna say he gets bit then, but from what I remember, Black Mamba's poison takes like 20 minutes to take effect.
But you have a potion, don't forget.
That's true. We'll drink the potion then.
Yay.
It is a potion of dexterity.
Oh, that would have been
Well,
nice.
that would have been good 2 minutes ago.
You are able to dodge attacks for a full 5 minutes. Now that you've been in venom.
Yeah. So I'm just picturing a dead snake and a dead Roth on the ground then. That's what I see happening.
Okay. Any last words from Rolf before he dies a grisly death next to the snake that he falls on?
Drink the potion first.
He'd probably say, "This is what I deserve," and then crawl up in his grandmother's quilt and call it a day.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of self-hate from Roth.
I mean, I understand that. Oh wait,
Yeah, who doesn't, you know?
you should have said that out loud.
Now, is he in this book actively trying to kill the two protagonists?
No, he's one of the protagonists, and he's trying to turn his life around, where he's leaving his past behind and trying to do better.
And where is he going to try to make the? I guess first of all, what's the world like? What kind of technology are we dealing with, etc.?
So it's mostly medieval. It's a fantasy western kind of inspired thing. So if you guys have ever read like Low Country by Morgan Shank or Red Country by Joe Abercrombie, which I know you two haven't, but kind of a western inspired fantasy with no guns, no magic. And the plot starts off like chapter 3 or whatever for him, with him, he drops off a family in this town and then he signs up as like a bodyguard for another trope. Mike, you got a cult going for you, huh?
Well, apparently, a lot of people make bad decisions.
Over
That
and
is
over
true.
and over again. Is he actually like going some? Okay, so like if I'm an alcoholic, right?
Yeah.
With a bad temper, and I said I'm going to turn my life around, I'm going to Vegas. That's probably not a good move,
Yeah.
right?
And that kind of is what happens.
So that's what your guy is doing. I'm going to go turn my life around, so I'm going to go to the seediest place I can find.
Kind of. He's got more so like an addiction to violence, but he's like, I'm a bodyguard. I kill people who mess with my people. So it leads to like, it does touch on this where like, that's an intentional decision where he says he's trying to do better, but we've all met people who say like, today's the day, starting a new week. And then by Friday, they're just totally back to their old self.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So
And that's the good guy. He's the guy you're rooting for.
It's like saying like Logan Nine Fingers O'Clock is the good guy. It's like they're the main characters.
Yeah.
So what's your bad guy trying to get out of this?
That's kind of what I like about For a Few Days More in particular is that of the 3 characters, the bad guy, who is like a sadistic, almost torturer, is probably the best morally speaking.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one. I like Grimdarks because of things like this, where it's so everything is gray. There's no good guy, bad guy. Nothing's black and white.
So
Because at the end, my goal is you have these horrible, horrible, horrible people, but they're well written enough as characters to the point where you're like, shit, I don't want this person to face the consequences of their own actions.
So any of your people really, if they were walking through the forest and suddenly realized they were in the 100-acre wood, would absolutely kill Winnie the Pooh.
I don't know, man. Winnie the Pooh is so wholesome. Who could kill Winnie the Pooh?
Depends on if he has honey or not.
Winnie the Pooh was probably more vicious than my characters if like he's in the way of the honey. That motherfucker is vicious. Doesn't even wear pants because he's nothing to constrain that rage.
Word vicious and Winnie the Pooh just it's such a it's not sitting well.
World's changing place, you know. Content sells.
Okay.
Yeah, like Cocaine Bear is actually based on Winnie the Pooh. I don't know if you guys knew that.
No, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, it's all about Winnie and his honey and violent addiction.
Winnie the Pooh would strike me more as just kind of a weed bear, more so than a cocaine bear.
Yeah, but I'm gonna take
always
your first...
hungry and just kind of mooching off the neighbors.
Oh, he's a big muncher, yeah.
Yeah.
But I am gonna cut that clip and take the first 4 or 5 words where you say Winnie the Pooh would strike me, and I'll just take that and be like, yeah, Winnie the Pooh strikes Roe violent.
There are worse things to happen, I guess.
Okay. Since you have a young daughter, I'm guessing sleep is very precious to you.
Yeah, I would say so.
And you live in Alabama, so you really just want to sleep.
Yeah, luckily there's nothing to entice me to go outside.
So have you ever had dreams involving your characters?
Yeah, every once in a while. Yeah.
That must be horrifying with your character.
No, we just chill. We have a nice little bottle, you know. Nothing to fight about. Then they talk about all these stories about like, oh yeah, one time someone looked at me funny and I killed them. I was like, oh, haha, this dream's over now.
To just kill him, I ripped off his head and reached down in and pulled. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like organs and viscera came out. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. I went and saw a football game last night myself.
Depending on who was playing, much the same thing. All right, Mike, go ahead. You've been trying to say something for a while, please.
My next question is, have you written anyone that you know into your books? And more importantly, have you killed them?
Oh, yeah. I recently did just a quick count of all the references to people, events, or music that I made in a secret project. And I think the final tally was 22 or 23. 10 to 15 of which were personal connections. So I could be like, hey, you're a character in this book and you died. So what does that tell you? A nice Christmas gift.
Want to die when you tell them that? It's like, I'm going to kill you in this book. How would you like to meet your grisly fate?
Oh, no, I just tell them you already died. Before you even think about it, you're already dead.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Have you had characters die on you that you did not plan for them to die?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So this book in particular is essentially entirely gardened. I cannot figure the math behind getting this into the camera. But
why are we talking about that again?
Yeah, fuck Joe Abercrombie. Let's go back.
So the world is almost entirely what?
I wrote it almost entirely gardened. So if it made sense for a character to die, does not matter where they are in their arc. I'm not going to Deus Ex Machina their fate and rewrite it and work it until it's this manufactured product of, instead of a natural adventure that this one kind of is. So that's how that came about, where there were characters that I was like, oh yeah, this arc's gonna be sick. Maybe I could write in a romance or whatever. And then I'm like, oh fuck, you know what would happen right here is that character would probably die. And that's what happened. So
what's an example of one that died on you against your will, as it were?
this is a spoiler, so I guess I'll warn the audience to fast forward like 30, 45 seconds. But there was a brewing romance between Cynthia, the character, and it was kind of a will they, won't they thing. And one of the other characters snuck up on the group and got a hold of Mancer. And that's how I ended the chapter. I was like, okay, I'll come back to this, this arc later. And then I was sitting there, I was like, what would this character do with the potential romance character at his disposal? It's like, the answer is he'd probably fucking kill him. That's what I wrote. That character had a whole bunch in my head kind of planned about like, oh, he could do this, he could do that, he could do whatever. And kind of at the top of his arc, just dead.
Nice.
So he didn't get the girl.
No. She was real sad about it, though.
She was not?
Well, she got over it pretty quick. So for you guys, what is it like? Like, do you guys like believe in the architect versus gardener thing, or?
I haven't really thought about it much.
When I first started, I very much plotted everything.
Mhm.
And then I'd start writing, and my characters be like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So now it's more like, I just call them like signposts. I'm like, this is where it's going to start, this is where it's going to end, and these 4 things are going to happen in between, and let's go figure it out from there.
Yeah.
Because whenever I would like, okay, this chapter, I'd plot it out, this is how it's going to happen, and I'd start going, and they're like, no, I'm not taking that left turn. I don't care how many times you tell me. And I'd threaten to kill them, and they would not care, and I would lose arguments to fictional characters, and I'm completely sane, I swear. So yeah, now I'm just like, where am I writing to? I have to know where I'm writing toward, but that's how I get there. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's what I have, essentially. It's like, I know how my story starts, and I know where I want it to end. Everything in between, like they say, you can only see 20 feet ahead of you with your headlights at night, but you can drive 1,000 miles that way,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's true.
and that's why I have these 3-month breaks in the middle of the book where, I get like the first 20,000 words done, and then 3 months later, it's like, oh, that's what I need, and go back to it.
So Zach, have you gone down any crazy rabbit holes researching stuff for your book?
Oh yeah, I'm sure all 3 of us have pinged some FBI alerts for the stuff we've looked up where it's like the most recent one, they were in a forest and one of their friends died in this book, and it's like part of their culture is they like to burn their bodies, like there's a fire god and stuff, so it's like we return them to the fire. It's like, okay, but how, like a low fantasy setting without like an industrial furnace, does that take 16 hours, or how long does it take to burn a human body to ash? That's the most recent one.
Well, you need to get it pretty hot, I would think, to get it to ash.
It takes some time.
That's why you need magic.
You see, that would be nice.
So I was talking to one author. The best answer to this question ever was, he's like, well, I was writing sci-fi, and they crashed on a planet, and they were able to get their ship fixed, but they needed fuel. So I had to look up, can you convert human bodies into biofuel?
What was the answer?
Wow.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just fat, triglycerides. You can, I'm a chemist. I could show you the formulation, how to do it. I know exactly. Yeah,
I knew there was something off about you, a chemist, huh?
The problem with that whole thing is, though, your spaceship smells like bacon for weeks.
Use the word problem there. I'm not hearing one.
Yeah, you keep smelling that, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, he might taste good too.
His girlfriend walks in the ship. Oh, is Joe here?
Kinda, in a way.
Everywhere and nowhere.
Yeah.
All right, your next book is coming out in March. Remind us what the title is.
Whispers of the Storm.
Whispers
That
of
one,
the-
yeah, that one's going to be more of a frame narrative, backward story, whatever you want to call it, with kind of like Name of the Wind, Child of the Torturer. Which you guys have not read Name of the Wind?
I am not going to read it until he puts out the final book.
You're
of the
never going to
series.
read it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's kind of like that where the main character, his name is Redland, and he is a large influential force in a war that they keep referencing. And he was sort of a hero turned villain and is now just reviled across the country. They catch him, and then on the way to his execution, he's telling his story to an inquisitor, kind of like a historian-esque character about, she'll be like, oh, I heard you did this. And they'd be like, that shit did not go down that way. Here's how it actually went down.
Huh.
And this is separate world from your first book?
Yeah. The sequel for this, I just finished the first draft of like 4 weeks ago, maybe last month. So that'll probably come out in June or July, maybe.
And you have it, you do through Amazon or Ingram Spark or?
Yeah, mostly just through Amazon. For a Few Days More is indie published, so I just said, hey, fuck it, here you go. Here's the words, you figure out the rest. That's not my problem. It's available on Amazon, and physicals are available on Barnes & Nobles. Whispers of the Storm will be self-pub, so I'm probably just going to do Amazon and just the easiest way. Yeah, but if you guys have any advice, I am all ears because I feel like a babe in the woods.
We all do. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
How long you've been doing it. It never goes away.
So forecast in the future for you, Zach.
Mhm.
Do you plan on putting out like 1 book a year, 2 books a year, 6 books a year? I'm going to use AI and put one out every day. What is the plan?
I would say it probably averages out to 2. That's probably my goal in life because I've found recently that if you just set little small goals for yourself every day, 500 words, which is, a page and a half or whatever. And ideally you'll go past that and get 1,000, 2,000, whatever. But even if you just hit 500 per day, you'd have a full-length novel by the end of the year. Yeah. If you did just the bare minimum. So that's kind of my strategy. I'd like to see that pay off to 2 books a year.
You'd be surprised how I was doing 2 books a year for a while.
Yeah.
And then, you meet people like Mike and you say, hey, let's do a YouTube thing. And then, this and that. And pretty soon you're spending time doing all kinds of ridiculous shit.
Yeah. Or you have kids.
Or that, right? Yeah.
Or
but
you don't have that
my son's sitting right across from me here at the desk, and he is trying valiantly to introduce me to Magic the Gathering. And it's fun, but I could see that if I really let myself go into something like that, that would just become another kind of dark hole of time.
And money.
Yeah, those cards ain't cheap.
Yeah.
And he builds a deck so much better than I do. I just sit there and just seethe. He's like, oh, I got to do this, and I'm going to pick 3 more cards and do this. I just,
It is funny. We can make worlds from our own imagination, and someone shows us a card game. I'm like, hey, man, that shit is too far advanced for me.
It's too much studying to do. I can make up my own shit in my book. I can just make everything up, and I don't have to worry about it.
Like, I wrote 300,000 words this year, but I'm not reading that many words on that card.
That's right. There must be 40 words on that card. I'm not doing that.
It's bullshit. I'm not reading it.
Well, yeah, but think about the font. What's the font size? Is it bold or yeah?
Oh, dude, I have taken out my phone and used the Zoom, thing on the phone before. Yeah.
Now, is that the card, or is that because you're 95?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, so Zach,
all right, we're freaking done here.
My advice I give young people like you is enjoy these days, because now if I wake up, I'm like, wait, nothing hurts. This is an awesome day.
I must be dead. Oh, shit, I'm in a coma. Damn.
That day is coming. And then every day like that. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'll say it's starting to get a little worrisome where my left knee, whenever it's cold, hurts. And I know that problem's never getting better.
If you're only 29, dude, you've got another good 10 years ahead of you.
Yeah, at least 6.
Yeah. But that's for another show.
Well, hey, thanks for having me on. It was a blast for everyone watching this who disagrees with Mike and Roe about character-driven Tarantino, Joe Abercrombie, Goodfellas, everything else. Go read that book. Go read Mike and Roe's stuff because they're awesome. And yeah, thanks for having me on here.
We don't disagree about character-driven.
Yeah, but
That's good.
Sometimes it's nice to have a good guy and a bad guy.
The only problem with that is if you have good guy and bad guy, then you end up inevitably having stormtroopers who can't hit a barn.
True.
And that's how do you deal with that?
Mike, I'm a little surprised you've seen Star Wars, actually, at this point.
Hey, that came out in 1977. I saw it in the theater.
Mike doesn't tell anybody this, but he was an Ewok.
No, Ewoks have a bunch of hair, from my understanding.
He was an Ewok. Ewoks came out a long time ago.
Yeah, what, like 60 years ago?
Ewoks? Not like, what, 82?
Yeah, that must be 60, 70, 80 years ago.
81 was the second movie, Empire Strikes Back. Ewoks were maybe 85.
Okay.
I think they were in the third movie.
Yeah, they were in the third movie, the last good movie in the Star
Wars. Man. I'll say this. Oh, you guys are going to hate this. Revenge of the Sith is the best Star Wars movie.
How do we delete it? I will give you one chance to redeem yourself.
I'm going to take it, throw it on the ground, and reiterate Revenge of the Sith is the best Star Wars movie.
You can be wrong all you want. You can repeat being wrong all you want.
We talked about this. You guys hide behind math and facts.
Who's the best Star Trek captain or the worst? Take your pick. Go either way.
You know what? I've never seen a single episode of Star Trek.
What?
Yeah. Oh, Mike, I don't want to hear it from you, brother.
You've never seen any Star Trek?
Not one. I'll take criticism from you, Ro, but Mike, no way.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think it's what, like Captain Kirk and Spook or whatever his name was. Or Smock or something.
Spock.
like the kitchen smock. Yeah.
So what is your feeling on Jar Jar Binks? Is there
Jar Jar Binks sucks, admittedly.
All right, let's leave on that happy note then.
We're one agreement.
We're all agreeing on something. Yay.
You are well on your way to becoming a curmudgeon. Congratulations, sir.
Yeah, you know what? That warms my cruel heart. So
come to the dark side. Yes, let it burn you.
Yeah.
Feel the hate.
Okay, show your book one more time. And 2 books out next year. You're promising, swearing, everything.
Yeah, I'll say this: I am not Patrick Rothfuss. My books will actually come out.
All right.
Okay.
There, you've heard it. It's been promised.
All right, but hey, thanks again. This was a blast. I really like talking to y'all.
Yeah,
right.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks, Zach. And thank for everybody else for showing up. And if you're still sitting around at 9 o'clock tonight and bored, I am on Sebastian Carlisle's TikTok Live at 9.
You'll be dancing.
There will be no dancing.
No worries, Bo. I appreciate it, brother. And Ro, just before we leave, what kind of attire are you going to be wearing for your TikTok dance?
A tie?
Attire, like clothes.
I will be wearing this. And there will be
we're
no
not
dancing.
going to see the Slave Leia cosplay.
You will not.
Shiny shirt.
Maybe. It's not shiny. There will be no dancing. Just
Mike and I will not be there if there's no dancing.
That's fine. Fair enough. All right, get out of here.
All right, y'all. Thanks again. Y'all have